Hello everyone, in today's episode we're going to be discussing the lighting system for the Raleigh Wisp. Now it's quite simple if you understand what you're doing, and I'll be honest, when I first started I did not have a clue. So after a few hours of a bit of hard work, perseverance and whatever else, and well, a few other tips and tricks along the way, I'm going to show you today how to do it all using this light here, which looks like it's been found in a canal. So I mainly want to be discussing with what each line does. So each little wire here has its own little purpose. So the main thing is what I want to discuss with you is, say for this red one, where it goes brown and black. So they're your main three colours when it comes to the wiring on the Raleigh Wisp. And once you understand that, and you understand the diagrams I'm about to show you, you'll be fine and you'll be away in no time. So first thing I'm going to show you is just how to get into the light. So all you'll need is a flathead screwdriver, and if you just slide it inside there, it should just pry as such. And that, you're inside, you can see all your internals, and then going from there we can now discuss how the wiring works. So for the next few stages I'm going to be talking you through as many ways possible as to connect your wiring up, using as many diagrams and just pictures in general to make things a little bit easier. So I have got a spare one, and this switch here, which is where all your connectors go into, and I can use that to demonstrate how it all connects together, how it all works, and then using photos, which I'll be showing here, I can then go through it with you and make sure it all goes well for you in process. So first thing I want to tell you before we do anything is mostly I solder these in. So you don't need much solder, I'll be honest, and then as long as you snip end of your wire, your solder does tend to fit perfectly into each one of these cavities inside the actual switch itself. So it's a lot easier than having to make crimp parts for end or anything like that. And then hopefully with a bit of perseverance you can pick it up fast enough. It didn't take me too long, but it is a little bit messy at times, but even if you do mess up, it's not end of the world. So to start with, we'll discuss the power and how the switch actually gets it. So the actual power output comes from the engine, which is shown here. So that is a male end, so you'll be wanting a female connected for that end, and then as well as that you can run that directly then into the power supply. So on this case here, it is the right hand side one which will be receiving the power, so that will be where your live is entering. So just make sure that goes on the right hand side of the live. I'll be providing a diagram here just to make sure you understand what I mean. Now as well as this, once your live is now inside there as such, and the other end is in the engine, you'll also be wanting the horn. Now the horn also goes in the exactly same place, such as there, which I'll be providing on a diagram. So that is as such, so you've got two wires now, which is the horn and the power, both on the right hand side hole, as such as you can see here. So they're both in the same one and they can both be soldered. And then once you're following your other end of your wiring to the horn system, that will then go into the button. So that'll go on the left hand side of the handlebars, and then that all it should do is run up the stem of the handlebars into the button, and then that connects that part of the circuit. Then next up we have the rear light. So the rear light goes into the middle as such, and then that runs all the way through the carriage chassis, and then once it runs to the back arch it goes into the light itself, and that is complete. Now once all these have been soldered, you want to make sure your switches are in correct positions. So on the left hand side you'll see this. Now that means the system is on. So your lights will be active, the horn will also be active. In this position, usually I find it where it's just the light what's active. And in such cases here, everything is off on the system. So that means everything's disengaged and everything should just be without power. So as you can see here, this is now in the lamp casing. So a lot of times I find with this is, as you can see here, they're riveted on, but in some instances you can actually file these down and replace them with very small nuts and bolts, which also makes it a lot easier if it needs replacing in future. So as long as you've got a small file, it don't really eat into metalwork too much, and then all you need to do is punch them through, and then from there it just makes life easier when you've replaced it. Now going back to his lamp, which we have found in the canal, so as you can see it's the same setup, same system. That's where your wiring comes out. You should have a little slot at the back there, and then we're looking at the front now. So the front is obviously where the light shines through. In this case the lens could do a replacing, so could the light, but then at the same time I'm just going to discuss now how you can remove everything including the bulb, just in case you want to change a bulb and everything else. So at first you'll probably notice what's actually holding this in, and in this case it's just some clips. So there's one clip around here, there's another clip at the back which you can't really see. There you go, it's just there, and then that is what holds the lens in. So make sure you've got all of them on yours, otherwise it will be quite loose. So to begin with, you just want to remove this, which should just come off by hand, which in this case it does. So as you can see, that is now off, and then the bolt should just be loose, as you can see here. So once that's loose, you can also start to begin pulling out the rest of the actual clip, which should, with a bit of perseverance, push down, and then when it pushes down, just pull it up, and then the full unit does come out. Now your secondary clip, it may be a little bit more awkward, just due to its size. There's no other reason for it, but what I tend to do is get a flathead screwdriver and just kind of slot it in there, and then that way you can get behind the clip itself, and it just comes straight out as such, as you can see here. And then once both your clips are removed, that is when you can start to remove the unit itself. So just be nice and gentle, making sure not to scrape anything, break anything. Then you can look inside. As you can see here, we've got a bulb, and then that should just push through, so. But you need to make sure you've got two little studs on it, so make sure they align properly when going in, otherwise it won't happen. And that's just how you do that. You've also got your front lens, and then that is just a case of just pull it out, and then that's that. So you can buy replacements for these at times, or if you can just drop on, you can buy new old stock, so it's down to preference. But for this case, this is just going in a spares box, and then it might be used, it might not be. But yeah, thank you for watching. I'll try and provide as many diagrams at the end of this as possible as well, just in case you aren't seeing them throughout. But like I said, I'll try and insert as much as possible, diagrams, photos, things like that. And with a little bit of luck, it might make things easier for you. But yeah, thank you for watching. And if you do want to see how else done, please do let me know in comments, or just message me, I don't mind. So yeah, thank you for that, and I'll see you all next week.